All right, so now we're going to talk about how you can create a quick board and have students join and what that's going to look like from both sides of the table. So as the teacher, you're going to start your quick board. And as we discussed last time, your quick board is going to display a code on the screen. That's the code that the students are going to use. So this code right here is what the students are going to use. So I'm going to go to another window, and this is what the students will have seen. So the students are going to come in. They don't even have to sign in. They're just going to click on Join a Quick Board. I'm going to do it on my other window too. Okay, so here they've got Join the Session. So it's going to be their name, and then they're going to use your code, D9707A. And this is going to be case sensitive, but it should all be lowercase. Okay. Then I'm going to go do the same thing on another account just so we can have two students logged into our class. Okay. Our code was D9707A. Okay, I'm going to sign in there. So now I've got two students signed into my account. So let's go back to the teacher screen. You just click anywhere off that and it'll close the window. And now you can see I've got two students logged into my account. So now from this perspective, you're just going to go ahead and present your lesson like you normally would. So this could be something that you've already created, or you could just be doing this board on the fly. But anything that you add into the screen, so let's take an image from my Google Drive, put Levi up there. Anything that you put onto the screen, the students are also going to see on their screen. But they can't do anything to it. They can't click, they can't draw, they can't type. It's just going to display it on their screen. But if you would like them to be able to, you can come over here to the list, and I'm just opening and closing that with the circles down here. You can enable the students. You can either enable them all, or you can click on their paintbrush and just choose a select few students, and that will then allow them to draw, type, add shapes, text. And let's go back over to one of my windows to show that. Now their tools have popped up, and they can use all the same tools that you would have, just a smaller selection of them. So let's go to the drawing. So maybe they want to do a happy face. They're going to have that access to that AI pen as well. And they're going to be able to add text and images, use the eraser, all that stuff. Until you disable, then it will take their features away again. Now, as the teacher, anything that a student adds to your page, you can delete, you can move. You have full functionality over everything that gets added, whereas the students would only have access to what they're able to add. Now, let's go to my account here. Let's say that I draw my smiley face. The other students who are in the board, let's go to the other student, they'll be able to see everything that the other student adds. But now they can't edit, they can't move that other student's drawings. They can only add and mess with their own. Okay, let's go back to our teacher view. Now, as the teacher, I'm going to erase everything. I'm going to start back from scratch. Now, one thing that I can do is create a huddle. Now, a huddle is like a digital group. So if I go up here beside list and click on huddle, it's going to automatically take my students and put them into groups. I can adjust the number of groups, and it will take all of my students and split them up as evenly as possible between those groups. But you can also drag those students into whatever groups you would like them to be in. Now, when you create the huddle, if you click next to the little person icon, that's going to create a grid on the bottom of your screen. What that's done is give each group their own collaborative space. So if I flip back over here, each group now has their own blank canvas, and they can add whatever they want. They can type, they can add shapes, and this is only going to be visible to the teacher and to the other members of that huddle. So if I switch over to my other student, he doesn't see anything that the first group has put onto their page. Anybody in the group will see it, but no one from another group will see it. But as the teacher, you have access to everybody's drawing. So down here in the grid on the bottom right, you see group 1. We've got group 2. Group 2 hasn't drawn anything. Let's go type group 2. So group 2 has now added some text. Pop back to the teacher's view. This is what you would see. You would see group 2 if you click on them, or if you click on it again, it'll deselect and you'll see everything that group 1 has drawn. I accidentally erased it. And everything that group 2 has put on theirs, all on one page. And if you had 8 groups, you would have 8 areas on your screen to show everybody's work. But if you want to just show one of the groups, you can click on their individual boxes and bounce back. And then to show them all, you click on a group a second time and it goes away. Now, one more thing about the list and the huddle. I'm going to disable their drawing rights. On the list and the huddle, the students have these little triangles with an exclamation point in them right now. That means that they are not on the tab they're supposed to be on. Let me minimize this and I'll pull this up. So you notice when I pulled this tab back up, that student's exclamation point went away. That tells me that they are looking at the screen that they're supposed to be looking at. The moment that they click on another tab, it's going to let me know that by pulling up that exclamation point in the triangle again. So if you ever see that next to a student's name, that means that they're not on the page that they're supposed to be on. Another feature that you can use is this eyeball down here. This little eyeball is going to freeze the student's screen and it's going to get their attention back on you. So if I click on that, it's going to pop up, it's going to gray out the screen. They can't click on anything on that page, and it's going to put whatever message that you would like to have pop up. So you change that message by clicking on the settings and go to Eyes on Me, and you change that message to whatever you would like it to say. And then once you want to get them back onto the screen, you click it off and they'll have access back to whatever it is that you're giving them on the screen. Now, if I want to get back to my lesson, I'll come back to Huddle and I'll deselect that grid, and it's going to go back to just the regular presentation that you had planned or that you were working on before that. But if you reselect it, it'll pop back up with their groups and they'll have all their content that they had previously created. Now, one thing about that is once you are done with your group, once you're done with your lesson, when you close out, all of the student work that they've done in their huddles will disappear. So you can, if you want to keep it, you can take a screenshot of it, but just be warned that it will go away once you end the lesson. All right, another feature that's really nice about this is this polling tool. Now, it's very basic, so if you would like to gather data or information about students, maybe whether or not they feel good about the content you've just covered, if you want them to participate in a discussion by voting, whatever the case may be, you can use these polling tools over here. Now, you have to have the question either displayed on the board already, or you have to just ask the question out loud because it doesn't give you the option up here. For agree or disagree, it's not as big a deal. You just write what they're agreeing or disagreeing about on the board or verbally share the question with them, and then it'll give them these options, agree, disagree, and you're going to click start. Now, if one of them was the correct answer, you would click that there. So if agree is the correct answer, I would select it before starting. But if we were doing something that wasn't, that didn't have a correct answer, is just an opinion, then you would just leave them both blank, click start, and then you click yes. And then if I go to the students view, now they have an option to vote pop up on their screen. They click on their answer, they submit it, and then you as the teacher will be able to see, all right, I've got one student voting for agree. I've got 1 out of 2 students who have submitted an answer. All right, and that's pretty much it for these tools. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to let me know.